Welcome back. We did say we would start a separate stream talking about Richarlison, so this is it. Welcome back to Follow Everton. Jan with
You
me.
were so quick.
Richie, your favourite player in a long time, isn't he? He's an iconic player. 45 Premier League goals for Everton. He brings back a lot of joy and memories, and who wouldn't want him back under the right circumstances and the right financial package for the club?
He's 27. It's not like he's 32.
Well, he's 28 tomorrow, but still 5-year contract in there, surely.
He's 28 tomorrow, so he's 27.
Okay. Kevin's saying he'd love Richarlison. He'd be a magnificent signing, but unfortunately today, David Moyes, as I just mentioned before to you, he said there's zero truth in it from his side. Do you think there's an element of the agent and Richarlison probably saying, look, can you get me a move back to Everton? They're going places next year. What do you think is going on? Do you think there is some truth in this and Moyes is playing it down?
I don't know who you think I have on speed dial, but it's not.
Well, I know you had. I know you've got Kevin Fairwell's number in your phone, and I know you had Bill Kenwright's number in your phone. Rest in peace.
Could you,
please?
You know, like I do point. I sit here rather awkwardly that I don't necessarily bring this up. I just say that as a comment, and then you drop that out there, and it makes a very awkward sort of situation now.
But have you got? What we want to know is, have you got Denise Baxendale's number in your phone?
No, Ryan.
Because I heard you with a phantom blocker.
No, Ryan. We went on a few dates and it just didn't work out.
I know. Look, she cheated on you with Unsworth. Go on. We keep it light here.
I can't compete with a rhino. Sorry. You know, you set them up. I can't help swinging them out. Yeah.
Yandalf, tell me, what are the terms that you want to see Richarlison back? What deal would tempt you? Would it be a loan with a buy obligation, maybe, where he has to make 25 appearances?
No.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I really hate that sort of speculation obligation. But I see those contracts as having specific uses in certain times, and a lot of the time it's for a youth player a chance when you've poached a relatively good, potentially future star from like a lower team, maybe abroad or something like that. And it's a huge financial thing. And you've got the clout to tempt him and his agent. But it's really not fair that you can bend this small club over a barrel. So you sign a contract where you get them on loan and then you agree, okay, look, if we play him this many times and he scores this goal and then there's bonuses and all that, I get that. But if we're going to sign him, just get it done. Because at what point do we... You know, it's
hasn't
messy.
Played a lot of football though, Jan.
Sorry?
Hasn't played a lot of football. I mean, his game ratio. His goals to game. Should we have a look at his evade? Let's look at this.
16 out of 68 as opposed to 43 out of 150.
He had a 1 in 3
How many games did he play
for
Everton? 140.
Around 150 games. He scored around 50 goals. He had a 1 in 3 ratio. He didn't always play on the central forward position. He played as a front two and dropped, or played on the right or the left. So he's going to get you double figures over 38 games, no matter where he plays in the front three. They are hard to come by, those players, Jan. And I would love to see him back at Everton, because I think if you could get 10 from the wing, 10 from the left with Ndiaye, and 20 from your centre forwards, you give yourself a better chance. That's 40 goals. Plus, your central midfielders need to start chipping in. We had Gylfi Sigurdsson, who scored a lot of goals for us from midfield, and James Rodriguez. So, you know, we've dropped off because we don't have goal scorers in those positions. That's why we're the 4th lowest goal scorers in the league.
We don't.
Coincidentally, the 4th least wins. You know, it's almost like goals mean wins.
We don't have. Look, our tactic at free kicks is invariably lump it in and either dink it on or dink it to not head it down to Tarkovsky, you know, and then other players go in and we bundle it in. Like we don't have like Declan Rice doing the things with the free kicks. We don't have if you want to talk in an Everton context or just conceptually, we don't have a player that commands, this is my free kick and I'm going to whip it in the corner or rip it round. And we don't have a mixed bag of not a mixed bag, a repartee and a repertoire of things. We don't have different tactics. We don't have, we've been working on things and there's been an improvement, but when you're working with limited tools or resources, I get it, but we don't have all the tools that you want in your I'm not name dropping here, but Arsenal, they have a lot of varied players, and a lot of clubs do that, that characteristically do certain things. And ours, we don't have the Tim Cahills. We've got a DCL and then a Beto, and we'll be comparing them because we go to forward does, because that's all we've seen for 5.
Yeah. He is talismanic though, and as Wes says here, let's have it right. Richarlison thrives when he feels loved. I don't ever think he's a Spurs player. He's never really fitted in with that for me. He's never really seemed like he can be a big fish in a big pond, a small fish in a big pond. I've got his statistics here, Jan. I want to talk about Richarlison in terms of, look, Moyes has shot it down. I think there is more into this. I think Everton are interested in him, but we'll talk about his transfer fee. Well, we sold him for 50 million. We paid 50 million for him. He's worth apparently 25 million, so his value is half. That sounds about right. Let's have a look at his availability and his stats, because I think that's where it comes down to. Oh, not 502 bad gateway. What are you doing? I need to see the stats.
For what?
Could you get Transfer Market? Transfer Market have got... They've got Richarlison. It'll show what games he was injured for and how many games he was available for. I'll try to see if I can get it up on my phone.
Is it Transfer Market? Sorry.
Transfer Market, yeah. That's what it's called on Google. View full stats. Come on.
Just, oh my God, what's happening with the internet today?
Mine's spinning disk and I'm on... I've got it. Okay. Let's have a look at this then. We don't have long. Europa League. So that's from the Europa League from September onwards. Oh dear. Can you hold on 2 minutes?
No, go see and put the stats up on a screen share or something.
Can you do that? Can you do this? If I bring it on, will you talk while I'm...
Can I look at some statistics and read things out?
I know. Sometimes you don't like to be on your own though. Can you see that?
Yes, just about. No, not very well. Oh, excellent. There we go. Okay. Unknown injury, hamstring injury, calf injury. Well, okay. It's a very, very spotty, but you have to wonder then, Spurs haven't really maybe made him feel welcome. Okay, you're just moving it around. Okay. Yeah, okay. With that consistency, but you need to ask yourself: has he been coming on off the bench in the sort of times there? Has he really been? Is it the same repeated injury that hasn't been treated? Has he just been left out because nobody seems to care about him? Because
what is interesting though, if you look at these stats, Ian, when he's available. Okay, he didn't play many minutes there. They beat us 4-0. He was part of a 4-0 win. He's had a lot of injuries. He can't stay fit. It's calves, it's hamstrings, it's muscular. Obviously, if we can get our sports science team working with him a bit better. But when he is involved, he's making things happen in these little periods he's been fit. Not a lot of minutes. A couple of goals there, a couple of goals there.
How's that any different from any Everton player? And at least, I mean, Jesus Christ, the fact that just how he's been on social media, for crying out loud, Richarlison. I will always love him for that. How come are we forgetting that? Like he got us and he loved us and we loved him. For crying out loud, bring him home. Like, okay, that's enough. Maybe I'm just sentimental and emotional.
This is the season before. This was last season. Look at his stats.
It's just,
he scores goals when he's fit.
But they had an injury. They had some injuries of their own, didn't they? And they got rid of Kane and didn't properly bring. Sorry, I'm going back too far. But what favors have they done him? Because they just bung him on and sitting on the bench. And even when he is fit, well, he's not necessarily fit then. If he's not fit and he's still on the bench, why not rest him a bit further? It's not like they haven't got enough players. Yeah. I don't know. Anyway, Ryan's gone. And that brings us, interestingly, he did say he'd have to go and do a 10-minute show on this. Are any fans worried that Liverpool will sneak red smoke into a blue flare? I have to ask. That malicious stuff that we're doing. Look, put it this way. Guy Fawkes and his friends, not that I'm making any comment on politics, wouldn't have done what they were doing if they were all happy, and they don't want to upset the apple cart if it's doing them favour. So what reason have Liverpool fans got to be malicious? Well, he says, remembering that they attacked the Liver building, and yeah, never mind. But yeah, so with that in mind, I mean, okay. So people watching, thank you for joining us. But would you have Richie back? And what's your stipulations on that? Would you have him on a 2-year reduced wages? How much would you pay for him? Would you have it on a sort of loan with a deal or an option or an obligation to buy? Yes, that's a bold claim there, Chris. I mean, whoever you are. Yeah, that's true. He was playing with, is it cortisol or steroid injections, pain-killing things in his foot or his toe? Oh no, am I confusing him with Gary Lineker there? Yeah, but then there you go. With that in mind, I think Ryan is probably changing a nappy, and unless I hear back from him imminently, I mean, we're pumping out the content today. It's Friday afternoon. There you go, Kevin. Kevin, you'd have Richie back, no problem. Just curious. And as I said, Rod, I agree with you. It's an improvement over what we have, and especially considering the passion and the footballing nous. I mean, a Brazilian number 9. Come on, I mean, and just what he demonstrated before for us. It's a lot more footballing ability and footballing presence on the pitch. I could imitate Ryan while he's away, but he could just come back and kick me off the stream.
Jan, is it possible, just while I'm feeding Poppy, the David Moyes press conference on the Echo, they've got the transcript. Is there any way you can just read it and like give your reaction to what he says about Decore, Silva, the draws and all that sort of stuff? It's not that long on Beto.
David Moyes, Echo press, that would be useful. I mean, I'm already halfway there. Press conference. Is it on the article? Like
Liverpool Echo? Yeah, sorry. I do want to be involved, but I'm balancing.
Oh God, I hate going on the Echo website.
I know, it's disgraceful, isn't it?
I feel like my phone is just crying at me, whimpering like it needs to be have an ambulance called for it, or whenever I go on there. Okay. David Moyes will hold and did. Okay, so let's go back in time to the start of the press conference. I'm reading it up here, guys. Sorry for being a bit awkward about it, but Ryan's left me in the lurch while he does poo duty. And according to the Echo, well, I don't know if I should do the 10 minutes of silence while we sit there and I talk or my lips move. So, Decore on Spicy McAllister exchange. Oh, no, never mind. Boring. Decore. Latest on Southampton. So, we know about the 78s. Now, where's the press room? Okay. Vinny from Sky Sports asked about Everton's away form. It's probably helped us greatly in securing the points total to make sure we're away from the bottom 3. The players have done well. Hopefully, they'll keep that up. So Decore will be available after he missed Ipswich with personal issues. On his comments, he said, it's good that players want to stay. They can see the club has a positive future. Okay. He's no spring chicken, which has to be taken into account, as we've said, in a polite, euphemistic way. Moyes says decisions are being made behind closed doors on the contract situation. I do like the professional way that Moyes goes about things, and it brings a refreshing change to the flippancy and casual matey nature that Lampard had, which was nice and affable if you're on clear and smooth sailing for Everton and what the fans were demanding. And it wasn't the sort of cryptic thing of Dyche, and I don't understand, looking back, it's a bit strange. But he did say on links to Richarlison, there's zero truth in that, in my side. Now, in relation to Marco Silva at Fulham, he's done a brilliant job at Fulham. They don't look like a yo-yo club. Well, that's obvious. They're a real solid club now. Very good side with a lot of players. They just say the same thing every time. A few knocks and niggles is what Moyes said. I've asked about the squad. Moyes praised Sean Dyche. Very lovely. And the that includes or built around Jordan Pickford. Okay, so it's a defensive forward thinking or from the back forward. The intensity could reduce in games given we're coming to the end of the season, but says he hopes his players will still give everything they have. I think, is that a veiled way of saying some players might have checked out and we won't be renewing their contracts even if we want to get the financial whack for them? Yeah. And asked about the 15 draws this season, whether the challenge next season is to turn them into wins. Well, we certainly don't want to turn them into draws or losses, I think. Yeah. Sometimes they get asked some daft questions. Are you disappointed with that loss? Oh no, I love it. It's amazing. I love the relegation battle. It's so frustrating. Julia, mostly with some good questions. BBC Merseyside. Was there frustration about losing the lead to Ipswich? Moyes. Well, we thought we played well. We did lots of good things. Of course, there's frustration. I know, Peter. What are these questions from journalists? I mean, I've done modules on journalism, linguistic tale and fable narrative. You're looking at it; it's odd. He says they couldn't quite shake off Ipswich, and the Enciso goal was wonderful. Yeah, okay. Are we getting closer to where we want to be with this Everton side? Well, any step forward and away from the relegation battle, yeah. But Moyes quite candidly said, I think we have a long way to go. I'm really pleased with how the players have worked and handled themselves. Yes, you've got to praise them. You've got to keep going till the last minute. He says there's a great spirit at the club, but he wants to build on and move forward. Build on that and move forward. And he's quite right, because the fatigue that these players have, because you try to empathize and put yourself in their situation and get into the dressing room mentality. And it must be hard to think that they're not seeing the pipeline of young players. They're not seeing that camaraderie of, teach me, Gov, of a young signing come in and being taken under the wings and things like that. And it's the whole club atmosphere seems to be out of sync, disjointed. And there are so many elements that, as Kevin said here, that I said previously, that we don't have the complete toolbox. As he said, we need some people who can during a match, and we don't have that. Like I said, we don't have the this one can whip in a free kick, this one can place it, this one can get the ball in the back post, and this one's going to stand on the edge of the box and wait for the deflected ball. Yeah. On DCL, is it better to have competition for Beto? I'm sorry, I feel like I should subvert this and give the opposite answer and make up Moyes' answers. So on being asked, is it better having competition to Beto? Moyes said, no, we really like to give our players the breathing room to just have the freedom to not worry about whether they'll be in the team next week. It's great that half of our strike force is constantly injured, because that really gives them the time to sit off and not worry about the public pressure, so they can focus on their mental health and general well-being. Of course, it's good they have competition, because it's good from a club and a management point of view.
The questions suck, don't they, a lot of the time?
Yeah, they really fucking do. But then you have to wonder, is that anything to do with what's going on at Everton, really, or the lack of...
Unfortunately, my proper camera's died now. I only had 50% on, and it was on for an hour and 10 minutes. So I'm back on the webcam. The journalists are all...
My questions to David Moyes would have been, we asked the similar questions, David. It's lovely to be here, and I hope that you're excited ahead of the game at Craven Cottage. But we've got a very small squad. We've got the same sort of injuries. There's no real changes here, so I can imagine there might not be some changes. But can I ask you, is it likely that we're going to see any involvement from Dan Friedkin or yourselves or anything in the public eye before the end of the season? Make an appearance at Goodison to make a statement, because the fans, obviously, it's hugely emotive, and there's a transition here. And from an emotional standpoint, a lot of fans feel there's a vacuum, because you've secured the safety earlier on in the season. You've, mathematically they're safe. You didn't want to go to Bramley-Moore. You've been there, but Dan Friedkin hasn't made an appearance. And you ask questions, ask insightful things that...
Yes, they're very safe questions. They don't want to upset the manager, so they don't ask anything probing. You saw that with Daesh.
You don't have to be adversarial to ask with a genuine passion and curiosity.
Yeah, I mean, but just before we go, Jan, what do you want to know?
What do I want to know? Okay,
What's reasonable
about
to
Dan
ask?
Friedkin. Ask them about questions about. Do you see that using Goodison for the women's team is a step in the right direction to preserve history that a lot of people won't want to say goodbye fully to the ground, and it's also a stepping stone to legitimise maybe the increase in support if it's there and demand for women's football to increase more money so that they're treated with more equality. Just something interesting about the club, about the club are doing a lot of commemorative stuff about this and the pitch and all that. How do you feel about that, David? Or how do you think the fans feel? Or the fans forums come out with this statement saying, well, it's good we're doing this. It's pricing out some fans from their stake in the club's culture, which they've invested in for decades. Like, I get an email saying I've got 2 weeks to secure the 2 seats that I sat in for, well, obviously I moved at some point, but these ones for 13 years. And you're like, I don't want it in a presentation pack. I want the seats erected too, because forget it. Just you're muted, Ryan.
It's a disgrace. They've asked me if I want to buy the Park End seats, the plastic seats built in the 1990s. I don't even have the name, the number on the seat. So all I get is a seat tip, piece of plastic in a frame. Let's be honest, where the hell am I going to put that? Yours, I can understand there's a big sentimental thing, and I imagine you don't want to lose that under any circumstances. So, it's difficult, really. And if anyone here in the chat wants to support Jan with that, then I'd be happy to facilitate, because I think we need to get both those seats. You must be really frustrated. I can see you're very emotional about it. I think in a way, Jan, it's an effing disgrace that they want to charge you 100 quid. For
they
2
want to
seats.
charge me 100 quid to stick it in a box and tell me that I'm going to put it on a wall where I've sat there every fortnight, and I want the backs, and I want the seats, and I want the supports, and I know the 2 fellas that sit next to me, and it's an end of row 2 seats, and I want to bolt them into the concrete in my back garden and have them there.
I understand why that would be so upsetting.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay, Jan. I know he can't. I mean, he needs to actually speak to Everton about this, because it's not right. What if you can't afford it? I mean, I'll because Jan's not here, I'll talk about it on his behalf. He sat with his father in that seat, and it's not like a Park End seat where it's just the seat tip, piece of plastic. I do have to go in a minute, but it's just the seat tip for me. But for him, it's the full seat tip and the actual bit you sit on. And it was his dad's seat and his seat, and he probably wants them 2 together in his house. But it is a piss take, and they're releasing all these other memorabilia things, aren't they? The 1892 light blue kit, which is just a rehash of the anniversary kit.
Thing, 220 quid. When did we become Liverpool and United? And we're literally more than doubling our match day income and having other revenue streams from this ground. And this is what you. I'm sorry. It's a piss tape. You're being spoon fed.
I'd ask Everton about that, Jan, because I think it's extenuating circumstances, really. I'd just ask them about it. So you don't want the presentation box, but you'll make a gesture to Everton in the community. Just ask them. There's no harm. Not everyone's got the money to buy it. I mean, I'm one of those people. I could buy it, but I was thinking.
But the thing is, I have to buy it. I will, whether it's by hook or by crook, or whether it's going without, which I'm already doing because I'm in a precarious situation, not to get into my personal things anyway. But I need those seats, because the last thing I want is, once the window's gone on Monday, the 26th of May, someone else is going to have it. No.
Ask Everton, Jan, tell them to phone me. What do you mean? I think on that, we're going to wrap things up. Jan, love you very much. Try not to stress about it.
I'm sorry, everyone. I shouldn't, because to a lot of people, it's really not that much, and they might want it, and it's a lovely thing. But to me,
I completely get it.
To me, it's a hell of a lot of money that I can't afford, and it's not about the financial issue, but the very frustrating thing is, can't they look like what they're looking at? Selling the seats to people around the world or who don't have season tickets, so then they open it up to season ticket holders. And then they go, well, we're charging this to people who want a piece of history because they can't be there. I'm sorry. Like, how much more do I have to give to this club before they're saying, this is what you want from us and we're going to charge a premium? Like, I'm sorry.
I know, it's fine. You're okay to get it off your chest. I have to go. Just because of Poppy, and I need a glass of water. I really appreciate everyone's comments today. Thank you so much. For those who joined us on the first stream where we talked about Decore and a lot of other things, there was loads of people on there. And I really appreciate Rod Ross, Peter, Ozzy Chris, Kevin, Dave, Danny, and lots of others for joining us on this stream. Jan, drop me a message if you want. We can talk about it. But
I'm all right, mate.
I'd reach out to them. I really would. If they've got a heart, they might help. Okay.
To be fair, they have something wonderful. Well, very small gesture, but leave it be. Yeah, okay. Sorry.
Take care, guys.
Thank you very much, Ryan. I'm sorry for that.
It's all right, mate. I fully get it. I'm on your side.
But you know what? Let's talk about someone asking, already being one of the top players at the club, already on 120 grand, asking for 20 grand a week more. And more than half of my monthly income goes on private healthcare costs that the NHS could give me, but they just don't fund it without me being sectioned, which I don't want. Hello.
Cheer you up. Don't worry about things you can't control. You can't affect it, and they are monopolising us. As long as the money goes and we get some better players, yeah, not like Decore, who can't trap a bag of cement, then you're happy to give the money. We'll find a way.
Chris seems to want to end the recording. Hello.
Is he funny? It's your cousin.
Yeah, go off on absolute.
Tell him to come
no,
out.
I have to not use no words. Oh no.
You want him to come around and see you soon?
Yeah.
He's a funny man. Okay. Let's wrap the stream up.
Yeah,
see she's cheered you up. There you go. Big smiles. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Jan.
Bye-bye. The one thing that will cost you more money than Everton Football Club.
It's where all my money goes.